This just in, not just one, but two storm systems will be eyeing up Manitoba over the next week or so. Watch out, Manitoba, it's coming. Let's go. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Justin with the Weather Center of Manitoba. Thanks again for tuning into our YouTube channel and checking out our videos and watching the video right now. We're going to start off once again with our satellite imagery, and we see a large area of cloud coverage starting to move into Manitoba from Saskatchewan. And what this is a little bit of a prefrontal boundary to a low pressure system that's going to be tracking through central and northern Manitoba this evening into Saturday morning. And this cloud coverage here is going to be bringing some snowfall to areas including Winnipeg and that southeastern corner of the province going into northwestern Ontario. Starting around midnight tonight and continuing into the early morning hours of Saturday. Not expecting a lot of snow. We'll look through that model data shortly, but yes, this cloud that's moving in from Saskatchewan is going to bring some snow to southeastern Manitoba later on tonight into Saturday morning. So let's look at our high rapid refresh model, our 18Z run here that just came through this afternoon. And you can see our low pressure system that I was alluding to across central and northern Manitoba starting to slide southeastward Friday evening. And you can see by 11 and 12 p.m. tonight, we have already a little swath of snow here starting to build through the Interlake region of Manitoba. Ashern area, Fisher River, and then south towards Gimli and Winnipeg will also get into some snow here by midnight tonight. And then that snow continues to impact areas of southeastern Manitoba going into Saturday morning. This is at 4 a.m. The snow is basically out of Manitoba, just still impacting the far eastern stretches of the Whiteshell region, and then it pushes off into northwestern Ontario for Saturday morning. In terms of our snowfall amounts, we can quickly check that out too, and we're not really expecting a lot of snow. We can see where that snow is going to fall in the axis from the Interlake region through Winnipeg, Gimli, and the Whiteshell region. Winnipeg, maybe about half an inch of snow, 1 to 2 centimeters at the most. Through the Whiteshell area here, there is a slim area that I just circled in red where there could be up to 5 centimeters as we go overnight Friday night into Saturday morning. But generally not really a lot of snow expected with this, just a little weak system moving through. Now, onto the two main systems that I was talking about in our introduction and in yesterday's video, where I stated that the March weather is about to get more lion-like. We're going to look at our RDPS model here at our temperature data. We can see the extremely tight temperature gradient that we have setting up here on Sunday into Monday of this weekend into early next week. And this is Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. And we can see what a temperature gradient here between southern Manitoba and areas that are just south of the international border into Montana and North Dakota. We see that temperatures just south of the international boundary are nearing potentially 20 degrees Celsius. And then we can see that up across northern even central parts of Manitoba and northern Manitoba, we've got temperatures up here -10 to -20 and colder across northern Manitoba. So what a temperature gradient between northern Manitoba and then areas stateside through Montana and North Dakota. And what that's going to do is set up a very active storm track here. And we're going to see a pretty strong Alberta Clipper move through. It's going to move through very quickly, late Sunday into Monday of early next week. And we can continue to track this model, and we can see that again. Look at here on Monday in the afternoon, 5 p.m. Monday, almost 20 degrees Celsius down near Bismarck. And then up here through central Manitoba, even the Interlake region, we're seeing temperatures between -10 and -15 Celsius. So that is a good 30-degree temperature swing between areas just south of the international boundary to areas through the Interlake region of southern Manitoba. So wow, that is going to set up a very potent Alberta Clipper Monday early next week. And so let's track this RDPS model, our precipitation model here showing our systems, and we will see the Alberta Clipper move through here starting on Sunday into Monday. We can see it's formed here across southern Alberta We got a 999 millibar low pressure system, and it's going to scream east-southeastward through Monday morning and be into Manitoba by the noon hour. And we can see that here as we go through time. Here is Monday, even before noon. This is Monday at 6 a.m. And we can see we have a 997 millibar Alberta Clipper low centered near Emerson, Manitoba. And we can see we have a pretty decent swath of snow here across areas of eastern Saskatchewan through parts of central Manitoba, including the Interlake region. And then as we go through the afternoon, we can see this is now 10 a.m. And then here is noon, 1 p.m. And we have the low pressure system already into northwestern Ontario. And we have that swath of snow still impacting Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but we see it's further south, more towards southern Manitoba. And we can also see that we have some really tight isobars behind the system as well. All these squiggly lines here. So I'm expecting we could have the potential here setting up for a lot of blowing snow going throughout the day Monday across southern Manitoba. So that'll be something to watch out for. So in terms of our snowfall amounts from this Alberta Clipper, we can see that there will be a pretty good area here of about 10 centimeters of snow through areas just north of the Parkland region of Manitoba, north of Riding Mountain National Park and the city of Dauphin, be impacting areas like Swan River, Duck Mountain Park, east through Alonza, Manitoba, across Lake Manitoba into that central portion of the Interlake, including Ashern and Ericsdale, and then continuing eastward toward Bloodvein, Manitoba, and Little Grand Rapids, and also impacting areas like Gimli along the shores there of Lake Winnipeg. And then we will also have some snow impacting parts of southern Manitoba as well. Not as strong of a signal, but as that low departs into northwestern Ontario later in the day Monday, that snowfall will sink south with it, and it will provide about 2 to 4 centimeters of snow widespread here across southern Manitoba for our day Monday. Now on to the next major storm system that is brewing on the mid-range and long-range models. This is looking at our GFS model and our 500 millibar wind speeds. This is what this model is looking at, and this is basically showing our jet stream over the US and southern parts of Canada. And look at this very deep trough that starts to set up here going into later next week. Now this is looking at early Friday, March 14th, the morning of Friday, March 14th, and we can see that we have a very strong trough digging into portions of the western states, including California, and then up through New Mexico and Texas, and then continuing to dig up towards Minnesota. And what this is going to do is help to form a pretty strong Colorado low here on the western edge of this trough. And that is going to want to eject into the midwestern part of the US and then up towards the southern eastern prairies and Ontario as we go into Friday and Saturday later next week. So let's watch this model run play out here. And woo, right there you can really see, and this is the 12 Zulu GFS model indicating a very strong Colorado low here over northeastern Nebraska and southeastern South Dakota going late Friday into early Saturday morning. And you see this huge trough that's just bringing in a lot of energy and moisture into this system. And as we go through time, we see that it moves into kind of southern Minnesota and then wants to move up into northwestern Ontario, and then it kind of fizzles out as we go into Sunday as it moves up towards Hudson Bay. So this is really going to be important to continue watching these model runs and how they come in and how they play this system, because if we have a storm system like the GFS is currently showing, kind of over southwestern Minnesota, next weekend it will bring the heaviest swath of snow on the northwestern side and into southeastern Saskatchewan and all of southern Manitoba, which would bring basically a full-out blizzard for next weekend and a major winter storm to the southern eastern prairies. However, if we have the trough maybe push further eastward, the low pressure center will be further eastward, and some models are showing this solution, and that would bring the heaviest snow here into northwestern Ontario and would leave Manitoba pretty much unscathed from this system. So this is going to be very important to watch as the models continue to come in with newer data over the next few days, and we're going to really try and watch these models bring a trend into the weather pattern over the next, I would say, 4 to 6 days leading up to this system. Okay, so the last model that I wanted to show you is our European model, and this is also a very accurate and amazing kind of mid to long range model. And it shows our Alberta Clipper here for early next week, Monday. We see that 992 millibar low. It's a strong Alberta Clipper over northwestern Ontario. Monday at noon, and we see Manitoba's into a swath of snow here through the Parkland region of Manitoba and the Interlake region. And we see these tight isobars, so there's going to be a lot of blowing snow and a good shot of snow falling down to the ground here Monday at noon. And then that system quickly ejects east. And then we see our major winter storm here starting to brew over Colorado by the noon hour on Friday, late next week. 983 millibar low. That is a very deep and strong low pressure system. And we'll continue to watch it as the European model plays it out, and it shows it forming over Colorado and then quickly moving northeastward into eastern Nebraska, similar to the GFS model. And this is Saturday morning at 12 Zulu. And then the system quickly jumps northeastward, and the center of the low pressure system is now centered over northern Minnesota, 980 millibar low. That is again, a very deep and strong low pressure system. Late Saturday, and you can see that it wants to bring the heavy swath of snow basically to that southeastern corner of Manitoba and then stretching up into northwestern Ontario and then toward the southern edge of Hudson Bay. So yeah, it's going to be very critical as to where this low pressure center really ends up sitting in terms of where that heavy snow is going to end up. So that's basically what we're going to be keeping a hawk eye on over the next, like I said, 4 to 6 days to try and find trends here in the models and really get a good idea of where this low pressure center is going to set up. This storm has the potential to bring a lot of snow. Some of the snowfall amounts these model runs are putting out over northwestern Ontario, we're looking at 50 to 70 centimeters of snow, because we have high pressure up here over the southeastern edge of Hudson Bay, and then we also have high pressure further north into northern Manitoba and northern Saskatchewan. So the low pressure system is going to be kind of sitting over northwestern Ontario and northern Minnesota for a long time, and that is going to bring hours and hours worth of heavy snow wherever this band sets up. So I know that's just a lot of model data to go through, but hopefully you guys got the gist of what we're watching, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone.